And here we are. Been 2 weeks again, but a lot to talk about on episode 4 of the Uncool Show. I am Dylan Wilder. Here he is. It is him, the man, the myth, the legend. Falcon.
Woo! Let's go, Dylan.
Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
Turns out Packers are better than the Bears.
I mean, yeah.
I think we knew that. But big win.
Yep.
Big W. Big opportunity for a lot of our young guys to really show what they're made of, which was super cool. I was really impressed with that win. There's another one that we weren't able to watch together, just due to holidays and family. But what was your thought on the game? What was your thought on Jordan? And what was your thought on our defensive performance? I felt like our defense might have made. Again, it was against the Bears, but I do feel like our defense.
We worked together though, Dylan.
We did. I felt like communication was better.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was gonna say we were together. We were at our friend's party for the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a blur though. I get it because
I know, dude.
yeah.
It wasn't as I was making the rounds every time I'd see you. You'd be just.
Well, let's back up a little bit, Dylan. We missed didn't miss, but we were driving basically and listening.
I
to
was watching.
Yeah, you were
driving. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and it was an interesting first half to say the least. I'm trying to remember if it was what was it 6-3 or 6-3 or something like that again at the first half. But anyways, unfortunate beginning to the ending of the first half, I should say. We were supposed to get another 3 points, but I think Tucker Kraft got tackled inbounds and they rolled.
Yeah, that was a tough
terrible
one.
clock management there at the end a little bit. But yeah, overall thoughts. Yeah, I thought the defense played relatively pretty well. They didn't get any takeaways or anything, but they got some key stops. They held Fields to under 160 yards at least. I want to say. I think he had 148 passing. Rushing defense was actually relatively decent too, surprisingly, considering we're ranked. You were telling me, Dylan, 25th for the league final
at the end of the year, we ended up 25th. And I definitely was a little worried about Khalil doing some work on us, and thankfully that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Again, it was the Bears. I'm not trying to downplay anything, but when you're beating up on your younger sibling that has no tools or no anything. Again, big win, but I do hope that the boys are keeping focused and not getting a little too high on beating the Bears, because Justin Fields is a below average quarterback and they have a below average franchise on both ends of the ball.
Yeah.
Again, it's a clutch W. We are in the playoffs, which is something that you and me at the beginning of this year, I don't know how confident we were about that.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah.
Jordan, in the back half of this year, from weeks 11 to 18, 17, he put in work.
Yeah.
He led the league in pretty much every conceivable category, in terms of passing touchdowns, touchdown to interception ratio, passing yards, especially in the third and fourth quarter. A lot of these games in the back half of the year. Now that we've had a full year of Jordan, what's your thought on him and his growth throughout the year?
Yeah, the first 3 games or so was obviously promising. I think, week 1 we got the dub against the Bears, and then we lost to the Falcons, got the huge comeback win against the Saints. So those first 3, pretty solid. And then we had that unfortunate October month where we lost 4 in a row, and that was, I think, where a lot of people, including myself, not you really, Dylan, but even myself, I started to have some doubts a little bit, like a lot of people. But it just goes to show in the last 10 games, he definitely really proved to a lot of people that he's a starting quarterback. 2, I think he's not only just a starting quarterback, but a franchise quarterback at this point. I mean, well, it remains to be seen next year. The second year is always an important year because he's going to have some film on him now. He's going to have to clean some things up, I think, in the offseason in terms of still maybe some footwork mechanics a little bit. But overall, yeah, he I actually got some stats for you, Dylan.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read
bring
this
them up,
off
dude. Bring
here,
them up.
because I was jotting these down earlier. And I hate to compare him to Rodgers, but we have to because there's been a lot of people, including friends
You
and
have
people,
to.
that
You have to.
basically were even trying to say early on in the season that they were better off with Rodgers versus Love. But I'm here to tell you that numbers don't lie, men and women lie, but numbers don't lie. Uh, Last 10 games, so comparison to give everyone a perspective. So Rodgers was 5-5 in the last 10 games. Love was 7-3 this year. Again, Rodgers last year, I should confirm again. Love averaged 266 yards per game. Rodgers 209. Touchdown to interceptions. Love had 21 and 3 interceptions. Rodgers 15 touchdowns, 9 picks. And then lastly, quarterback rating, which is the biggest discrepancy. 108.2 for Love, 87.5 for Rodgers, Dylan. And obviously, we got to kind of factor in that Rodgers had a injury on his throwing hand that I think it was very obvious that affected him at points. But it just goes to show, Love basically proved not only myself, a lot of haters, but the media and just about everyone in the league wrong. And he's about ready to have the next biggest game of his life here on Sunday
Yep.
at 3:30 Central in Dallas. And I feel good about it, Dylan. I feel very good about it. So,
Oh, I do too. But
yeah.
before we do talk about the Dallas game, I want to hit on that point that you just hit on. Aaron was not himself his last year in Green Bay, both
Yeah.
physically and mentally.
Yep.
He clearly wasn't on the same page with the front office, nor a lot of the young core.
Yep.
And it makes complete sense to me that these young guys respond and react and play a little more team-oriented ball for Jordan.
Yep.
Not that Jordan is the end all be all, or he's the only guy on the team that you feel an affinity to play for. But when your quarterback is a first-year guy like that, and he has your back, and he is inviting the offense and the defense to his house for film sessions,
Yeah.
as a young guy, that's a great step to take as a leader.
Yep.
I'm very proud of him for that. And yeah, this Dallas game is, for all intents and purposes, it might be our Super Bowl. Every game from here on out is a must-win, and I think it's almost poetic justice that we get to play Mike McCarthy in round one in the wild card. Essentially, I have a lot of love for Mike. I did not love the last couple of years of Mike. I don't think a lot of Packer fans did.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of love for the guy. But that being said, I do want to crush them.
Yeah.
And I believe we have a solid chance to. I mean, our offense is really clicking at the right time, and not just clicking with getting on the same page with the X's and O's, but we're finally healthy for the most part, minus Watson, who
makes big plays, but man, he's like you said, made of paper
yeah,
and
he's that
made of
SpongeBob
glass,
dude,
you know?
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got paper skin and glass bones.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Well, we also talked about off camera. Randy and I talked about some of him and his family talking badly about Jordan earlier in the season, which I find interesting. It's like those were games when Christian wasn't healthy,
Yeah.
or when he was healthy, he wasn't performing.
Yeah.
It's weird that you would have your family doing that to your quarterback, but maybe Christian wasn't, privy to all that information. But Christian probably needs to get healthy before he starts talking about himself as a wide receiver one or anything like that. He's been overtaken by 2 or 3 receivers in our core.
Yep. Yeah, and I was just gonna say to give people perspective, I think too, Dylan. When I looked into it further, Watson, it wasn't well. His family, they were I think talking some smack about Jordan because even myself, a lot of fans were talking smack about Watson, saying it was like all his fault for on a lot of those interception plays, not come back to the ball. So I think his family was obviously talking smack about Jordan not putting the ball in the right spot. I don't think they were just openly doing it for no reason. I think they were trying to kind of defend, from the fans. But at the same time, it's like you got to stand up for your son's, starting quarterback at the end of the day too.
You can't have any of that division in the locker room at all.
Yeah. So, interesting. But yeah, since you mentioned it, I think a lot of people that have been watching, I can name probably 3 guys for sure that are all better than Watson at this point, and I'll rank them in this order, and you can tell me, Dylan, if you agree. Jaden Reed, number 1. He's kind of a slot receiver, but I mean, everyone. Steele, I think we got him in the 3rd or 4th round, whatever it was again. No, 2nd round, sorry. Um, absolute steal from Michigan State. Chicago native, by the way, too.
That's right. Yeah,
And I was
did
telling you
mention
about that.
Yeah.
And so he beat up on the Bears again, made some huge plays. Dontavian Wicks, the number 2, who had 2 touchdowns against the Bears this last week, both the touchdowns. And I wanted to point out for Wicks, he's actually one of the top yards after the catch per reception leader right now. And I think I saw that he's right up there with people like Tyreek Hill, even ahead of Jamar Chase and a couple other people. I think the average per reception was like 5.5 yards per reception or something yards after the catch, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you like look at the
Oh, no,
average over time,
that adds up.
it adds up, yeah. And then number 3, who I think you would agree with too, is Romeo, who always just makes key plays. Almost had another touchdown this last week.
Romeo has he's slowed down a little bit
A
from.
little bit.
He had a really hot streak in the middle of the season.
Yep.
But yeah, he's still somebody who I think we're building around, and I think he probably has. I don't know. Between him and Reed, I think those two probably have the highest potential.
Mhm.
But I also need to pay a little more attention to Wicks and watch. I mean, he had a great game last week. There's no
He's
denying
got
that.
great size
But
too.
yeah, great size,
Route
great
running.
speed, and yeah, the route running. I think a lot of our young guys are very talented route
Yep.
runners. And that's not a skill that a lot of young wideouts develop quickly
Mhm.
or come into the league with. So we're lucky in that regard. In regards to the Chicago game, I did want to touch on Justin Fields because he is somebody who a lot of people in your corner are always comparing his performance and his ability to Jordan.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's objective truth that
Yep.
Jordan is better, and the numbers all year prove that. That isn't saying that Justin isn't talented.
No, he's talented for sure. Yeah.
But when you win 10 games in 3 years, you're not a winner.
Yeah.
You can talk about wanting to win all you want, but you're not a winner.
Yeah.
And I do find it ironic that all the noise of the Bear fans coming your way all year got real quiet now that they're on the outside looking in.
Oh, crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
It's easy to talk when you have a shot, but it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's no disrespect to Bears fans or the people who support Randy and the people who poke fun at Randy lovingly and not
lot.
lovingly.
Yep.
At times, a lot of you need to do better with that. But Justin Fields, and it's not always his fault. I mean, the Bears haven't really given him much to work with, but there's no part of being a quarterback that he is better at than Jordan Love.
Besides,
he's a better running back.
Yeah, running.
Better running back
for sure
than Jordan Love.
Yeah, arm strength, relative maybe. It's tough to judge that, but
yeah, that is tough to judge.
Yeah.
But other than, and I mean, and actually, Jordan and him had the same amount of rushing touchdowns this year, and Jordan.
Yeah, with like 4, I think I want to say.
And Jordan was 0.1 less yards a carry.
Yep.
Yes, Justin rushed more, but volume doesn't mean much when you're a loser.
Yeah. I mean, his record's rough, and I will again. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a loser as a person. He's objectively.
Yeah.
That franchise is a losing franchise and has been and will continue to be, regardless of any first overall pick.
I hope. Yeah.
No, there's no you can't teach competence.
Yeah.
That is an incompetent franchise.
Yeah.
No teenager coming out of college is saving the Bears.
Yeah.
And they all know that.
Yeah.
They know that.
I know.
That's why they like to talk.
I know. That's why
they know they're in another 5 years of limbo.
Yeah.
Of nothing.
Especially if they start all over again. If they tweak and they draft Caleb
wins.
Williams, like oof,
go for it.
I actually will laugh at that one.
They should, in my opinion, I think they should trade their pick
I agree.
For some veteran
and get a couple picks in the first round.
Yeah.
Get like a receiver and then maybe get like a couple linemen or something. Yeah.
But I mean, this isn't a Bears podcast. I just wanted to touch on that because that rivalry is something. But 10 in a row now.
Yep.
10 in a row.
Yep. 10-0 in the last 5 seasons.
Yep.
Add that to the bank for all the Bears fans and the haters still talking smack. It's like numbers don't lie. We're
Yep.
10-0. So until you guys beat us,
Yep. You
it's all
you
just
can
empty.
reach our comment section when Justin gets a W, but
Yep.
not gonna happen for a while.
Yep.
And it might not
May
even
not
happen,
ever happen,
and it
'cause if
might
he gets
not ever
traded,
happen.
yeah,
Yeah,
if he gets
especially as a
traded.
Bear. So, RIP. I hope y'all enjoy watching from the outside.
They're gonna try and come at us, Dylan, or me, when
Yep.
we eventually maybe lose in the playoffs.
At least
But
we
I'll just
made it.
say that's such a loser's mentality, and that's not even me being mean. I just think it's so ironic, and I'll reference Big Cat, who's another big podcaster in the world, and he went in an interview a couple years ago, Dylan, with Aaron Rodgers, and even Aaron Rodgers laughed about it and joked with him. He's like, "Yeah, our Super Bowl is basically watching you guys lose in the playoffs." And when you think about it like that, Dylan, that is so
Oh
pathetic
yeah.
in a sense that it's like that's all they can hope for.
Yep.
And they still think that it's funny to talk about, but it's like at least we're getting there.
Yeah.
We still have gotten some Super Bowls over the years. So 85 for you guys. We got one in 2010, 96. I mean, that's and multiple, NFC Championship appearances. So at the end of the day, keep talking smack, but it's like until you guys actually beat us, we own you, or I should say, Aaron Rodgers owned you, but now Jordan
He
Love is the
transferred
new
it.
owner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron transferred ownership.
and I don't know what else to say. So I'm not gonna talk any more smack, but it's just like just remember that when you wanna, get in my text messages or even
Oh, yeah.
talk smack in our comments or whatever, Bears fans, like
It's easy to
Instagram
hate from outside of the club.
yeah,
You can't even get in.
yeah.
know? You can sit on that little VIP line and talk and drink and
yeah,
say whatever you got to say.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, you're losers.
yeah,
All right. On that note,
yeah.
on to Dallas.
Yep.
What? I know you're feeling confident. Whether we have any reason to feel confident or not, you and I do have this rational confidence
Yep.
that the Packers have a very real chance to win.
Yep.
I mean, Mike McCarthy coached teams historically have playoff chokes.
Yep.
Mike is a solid coach. He is not infallible to a playoff meltdown.
Yep.
And I do believe that Matt LaFleur is a better X's and O executor, schemer. But I do believe it will come down to defense, as it has come down to defense and defensive execution and defensive communication all year.
Which gives me anxiety because
Yep.
I think we know our
Yep.
defense is going to be the biggest X factor in this game to a certain degree.
Joe Barry is still coaching for his career and his life right now.
He might somehow still. I pray, Dylan, that he doesn't, but he might still be able to like somehow keep his job by some miracle if
Yep.
he like gets this win against Dallas. Let's say they would play the winner of the Rams and the Lions, and then they would play probably the infamous 49ers, which I think we can probably. I mean, just
it's a safe bet that they're the
they'll put them
favorite.
into the
They're the
Super Bowl.
favorite to make it right down. But we always talk about injuries and things happen in football all the time. And I never want injuries, but even if another team that plays the 49ers, maybe they just get real hot and the Niners have one bad game and that's all you need. That's what makes football exciting at the end of the day. Is at this point, there's only a few contenders.
Yeah.
But football is that one sport where anybody really can win
Yep.
at this point, and that's what makes this time of year really exciting. But offensively, I know that Dallas has I think they're the top-rated home offense when they play at home.
They're undefeated at home right now too. Which means they're due, Dylan.
Yeah,
which
for
means
real.
They're due.
I agree and I hope.
Yeah.
But I think they average 34 at home. I think it was something in the 30s.
Yeah.
They're an incredible offense, and we are a mediocre defense. So that is reason for pause, and it's
We have a good pass rush though.
reason for concern.
Yep.
Yeah, if we can get pressure on Dak early, that
That'd
would
be
be nice.
Yep.
What would you like to see defensively, scheme wise? What would you? I mean, what are your expectations for what we're going to be watching in terms of Joe Barry's game plan and in terms of well, I mean, Jair might not be playing now too because he rolled his ankle in
literally today
practice.
as we're filming this.
Yeah, which is big.
Yep.
What are your not predictions, but what are your thoughts and what are your concerns for this game defensively?
Initial thoughts are, like you said, if we have a chance, we're gonna need to dial up pressure. Either get pressure with 4 or like what even Joe did in the last couple of games against the Vikings and the Bears for once, like dialed up some exotic blitzes, some stunts, things that, bringing the corners maybe or a safety because you got to give them looks that they don't
Yeah,
expect.
yeah. Things that we really hadn't seen all year.
Been so vanilla and conservative
Just
to the point where I've literally been ripping my hair out at times
yeah,
watching them, and
yeah,
it's just like, but yeah, I will say though, yeah, building off that, I think obviously we got to stop CD Lamb. He's their best playmaker, or at least slow him down. That'll be key if Jair or if it's gonna be Stokes or I don't know Valentine, one of those guys. I think we can slow him down, but we're gonna have to play man. I think bump and run, and you're gonna have to have someone safety help over the top, whether it's Savage or Ford. You're gonna have to do that because he's the game breaker at this point, and
yeah.
he's having a
Heck of a
career
yeah.
year, I
He's
think, at
having a
this point.
very good year.
Yeah, and but yeah, if we can, because we slowed down Justin Jefferson partially because we had like an incompetent quarterback in, when we played 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's gonna be key. And then I will say too that obviously we got to slow down the run, or at least kind of just not let them, milk the clock where it takes time away from Jordan. I think we can do it, but it's going to be key on our linebackers, our defensive tackles, and ultimately Tony Pollard, who's their running back. He's been good, especially last year before he got hurt. This year he's kind of fallen off a little bit, so we'll see if he's gonna be that kind of player, or not. But overall, yeah, just gonna have to slow down CD. We're gonna have to bring some exotic blitzes, things like that. And lastly, I think we can't play zone against this team. Versus like Fields, I think you can get away with it because he likes to, when he gets pressure, he can make plays outside of the pocket or as like just
yeah.
run and things. Dak is a completely different style quarterback, as most of you probably know. He's having a great year as well, so I think you gotta just get pressure on him. You gotta show him looks that maybe he hasn't seen. And you and I both know too, Dylan, in the past, especially past years, he can throw the ball away or throw picks, and
Oh yeah,
things if he feels uncomfortable. So it's gonna be critical that we just show him things that maybe he hasn't seen a lot and make him feel that pressure, especially early on. And if we can hang around by the third quarter, Dylan, which is I want to touch on with Jordan Love again, like he's one of the best I think third and fourth quarter quarterbacks in the
yes,
league.
yes.
So if we can hang in the game or even God forbid have the lead, I think we have a really good shot. But the first 2 quarters we're gonna have to survive because as you know that crowd's gonna be rocking in Jerry's world.
Yep.
We are though historically pretty good over the years in that stadium, and we won a Super Bowl again in 2010 in that arena.
Yep.
So we'll see. And also, I think we're gonna just have to out coach Mike McCarthy, which I don't think is very hard to do in game, but he's a great, like you said, planner. So overall, let's hope and pray, Dylan, that Joe Barry just, honestly, I don't care at this point if he keeps his job, if he helps us get a couple playoff wins. I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of annoying, but if he gets us like let's say this win and one more, I'll
You
let him
really
have one
can't
more
do
year.
much. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't
yeah.
do much at that point. So, I just think again he needs to be able to adjust moving forward, and
Yeah, he's
so
definitely like we've talked about in his ways, and doesn't appear
yeah,
to have much hope of changing that right now.
yep.
But uh, the uh, the Cowboys play man D, correct?
They
I
they
was
mix it up like a lot, but they're mainly man.
they're
Yeah.
mainly man. I do I expect Jordan to run a little more than he has.
Mhm.
I know that this Dallas team doesn't defend well against the run, especially runs from a quarterback.
Mhm.
Um, I do think that if they're in man coverage, and I don't know much about their secondary, I won't lie and say I do. But if I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for Jordan to use his legs on Sunday, and when their backs are turned, regardless of whether the coverage is good or not, I think that this is an opportunity for him to use that part of his game to control the tempo, control the pace a little bit more, take pressure off of himself and off of the other guys. But yeah, I did a lot of reading today, and this isn't a team that defends well against the run historically. And with
Yep.
Jones looking healthy, looking like he's ready for 25 carries no matter what, that's something that Dallas should be concerned with, and something that we need to be looking to take advantage of.
Yep.
I don't know if AJ will be playing. It seems like he'll still be.
He's up in the air, I think, right now.
Yeah.
We'll have to see over the next day or two. Yeah,
But either way, we have one of those guys.
we have a chance.
We have a chance.
Yep.
And again, Aaron has been looking really good for about 3 weeks now, which
Yep.
has been a blessing.
Yep.
Been a tough year with him in and out for sure.
And I wanted to add too, like we were talking to earlier, Dylan. The statistic now is 9-1 for the Packers with Aaron Jones over 20 carries. So I'm no genius here in that sense, but it's like I would say keep riding that.
Oh yeah,
until
he's
it fails.
he's
So
talented.
yeah, and good things will happen. So Matt, I know you're probably not watching this, obviously, nor will you probably ever see this for now. Wink, wink. But I will say that yeah, you need to just keep riding the hot hand. Give Jones the ball. Obviously, let Jordan cook with the play action again. Yeah. So
What do you have any concerns about the moment being a little too big for any of our guys?
a little bit, but I will say this, Dylan, and I think you were touching on it early on, like when we were talking about Jordan, is we have like the youngest team in
In football?
football history to make the playoffs too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a
Cool.
I saw that.
That's a cool little
It's really cool.
stat. Yeah,
Um,
for them.
but basically, I think at this point you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as all these young guys, it's too big of a moment for them, or you can look at it, which I think could also be a possibility because the way they've been playing is that they're just going to play loose, have nothing to lose. They've all been growing together up to this point. You can see between the receivers, Jones, Love, they all love each other. The offensive line, if they just go into that, like I think they will, Dylan, just they have no pressure at this point.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like it's all in
Nobody's
Dallas.
picking
Yeah.
us to win.
And yeah, no, I think at this point they have a good shot to just go in there, and they also don't have the emotional baggage like the Cowboys kind of do. A lot of those players, and also even old Packers players like Rodgers, like all the heartbreaking losses over the years. They're free basically.
Yeah.
They have no emotional baggage, so they could just go in there and be like, yeah, this is my first playoff game. But they have no, past like games that are haunting them.
I mean, the
Which I think
pressure
is huge.
the pressure is all on Dallas.
Yeah.
Especially at home,
Yeah.
which is kind of an oxymoron because people want to play at home. That in every sport.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, that can be more pressure.
Oh, 100%.
With your entire organization, your entire fan base.
Yep.
Sitting there.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones is,
Big Mike definitely feeling the
Yeah,
pressure because
yeah.
if he doesn't get far this year, Dylan, I think he's done, honestly. He's had great success, but think about it, like Jerry's not super patient after a while.
No,
and
he's
had
not.
a lot of very bad losses
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, especially to the Niners, like us, which is go figure. But
They're a great franchise.
yeah,
They know
yeah,
they know how to win.
they basically own us at this point for now. Kind of funny how that works, but yeah,
We're the Bears to their Packers,
right now, yep. So
But sorry, just staring at the cats right now as they fight and scratch and claw their way to victory, much like the Packers. Uh oh man. They're the best. What is availability looking like for I know we talked about Watson not being
Yeah.
available, AJ Dillon most likely not being available. Are there any other we talked about Jair.
yeah.
Any other injury concerns that we're worried about? I checked a few days ago and I didn't see anything
Everyone was either questionable because last week it was
or limited. A lot of
Yeah.
limited participants in practice.
Because what was it? It was just Watson and Dillon that were the main two big outs, I think, last week against the Bears, if I
Yeah.
remember. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably similar.
Just adding
unless-
Jair to that.
Did you notice yourself? Because I didn't get a chance really to look at any new people really that were significant that you noticed.
There was somebody on. I'll pull it up maybe.
Yeah.
It was nobody important.
Yeah.
It was nobody important.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think we'll be good injury-wise, hopefully. I think most of the key people will be playing. If Watson does play too or Dillon, that's a bonus. But at this point, not hating on Watson, but we're like 5, 6, receivers deep at this point. We have two great tight ends. We have a great running back. We have a great quarterback at this point. I don't think anyone can deny that anymore. A lot of people are trying to say, "Oh, he's still unproven." I don't care what you say, Dylan, or not you, but what people say is that Jordan Love at this point, he has over 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. I mean, outplayed Rodgers in his first year at this point too. Anyone that throws over 30 touchdowns in a season and keeps their interceptions to pretty minimal, especially in their first year starting, that's not luck. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Like that's skill at the end of the day.
Yep.
Of course, he's had some accuracy issues like a lot of quarterbacks at times, but he has some great balls too. And I mean, especially like pause there, but
Yeah.
but no, like he made two great throws to Wicks on the two touchdowns, and then he also had two other touchdowns last week that could have very easily been, I mean, Bo Melton and Romeo. So, yeah, I feel good, Dylan. So confident that I definitely was tempted. I was telling you, I liked the odds and put a little money on the Packers. So we'll see.
Yeah. Good
But
for you, man.
yeah,
I always
I
enjoy watching you do that from a distance.
I don't advocate for gambling, everyone, but sometimes it's fun, and as long as you don't go crazy, it is what it is. So, but
And full disclosure, that is Randy's opinion.
yep,
I
Dylan is not a
disagree with gambling wholeheartedly, and I
yep,
have never done it.
yep.
All right.
Covered that.
All right. I don't know, man. I just did a slippery slope.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a game like this, the odds are so astronomical, like in their favor. It's like, you put some money, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just something to be careful of.
Yeah.
What are other teams that you're kind of like looking for to make some playoff noise outside of us?
Mm, I think the Browns for sure.
What about I don't disagree, but what about the Browns? Has you feeling that way?
Great defense. Joe Flacco playing very.
He is playing great,
He's
which
back.
is super cool.
He's
I've
back.
always been a big Joe
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, the Browns just because of those pieces. Amari Cooper's great. I will say, who else? The Rams are dangerous because they got both Cooper Kupp back. They got Puka, who's been killing it. Matt Stafford, as we know, the true Matty Ice,
The true Matty Ice.
because he got a Super Bowl a couple years ago against Joe Burrow.
I was really happy for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was salty.
I like
lost,
Matt.
but
Yeah, I know you were rooting for Joe that year.
I even dressed
Yep.
up as him.
You
for
did. You
Halloween,
did. You
yeah.
did.
But
And I like Joe too.
yeah. But who else besides those two? I would say
I mean, I know you're not worried, but you're very high on the 49ers and
yeah,
their
Ravens.
shot.
They're obviously. I think no conspiracy here, Dylan. But I was looking into. I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. If you look at the last 3 years, Dylan, just for funsies here, I saw this on the internet about a month ago. But you look at the Super Bowl logos the last 3 years, the color schemes they have. Again, no coincidence here, but maybe there is. But you look at it, it was orange and yellow back 2 years ago against the Rams and Bengals. And then last year it was like a tealish, bluish, whatever, green and red. And it was the Chiefs and Eagles. And you know what it is this year, Dylan? Purple and red. There's only one purple team. And then there's only two options on the NFC side, 49ers and Buccaneers. And I love Baker. He could get an upset here this week too, I'll add.
Are you sure that they like designed those before the Super Bowl though, bud?
Yeah,
Are you
it's
sure
out
that
there right now.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe this year's is, but are you sure that like the last 2 years that like
Oh yeah, I
you know,
remember
are you,
seeing
like the matchups get made and then the colors get added to the logo?
No. Like I remember
Yeah.
especially last year, the colors were set before the playoffs started, which is very interesting. So I don't know. It is what it is. But
Just a little bit of who knows.
yeah.
Throw out there.
Hopefully they don't come after it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. I think then lastly, I'm trying to think of any other teams. Those are the main ones. I really think the only other one I could think of, not on the NFC side, but the
You're not worried about the Eagles roll?
I think they're falling off. I mean,
Yeah.
they might win this week. I think I fully expect them maybe to win this week, but I could see Baker winning too. So,
I would
he's
love
playing.
it. I would love to see Baker.
Yeah,
get
he
a
did us
W, too.
dirty. A few weeks ago.
I know.
So,
We made him look like an MVP.
I know.
Like 4 touchdowns. Almost.
Yeah.
Didn't he have over 400 yards?
uh,
Or close to
something
400?
like that. Yeah,
Perfect passer rating.
something like that.
Like something he's never done before.
Yeah.
I do love Baker, but come on.
Yeah.
We made him look like a god. But no, it'd be really cool. I'm rooting for him.
The Bills are always. I mean, they could be dangerous if Joshy.
Turns up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. But what I will say again, the Packers have a real shot to win this week. They have a real shot then to win the following week against whoever between the Lions and the Rams. might then run into the buzzsaw with the Niners. But who knows? You never know, Dylan. Like, you never know. But yeah, it should be a fun wild card weekend. There's a lot of storyline matchups. There's the Bills and the the Bills and the help me out here, Dylan. Bills and
I have
where are they
no
playing?
idea.
Bills and the Steelers.
There you
Bills and
go. Yep.
Steelers. Dolphins and the Chiefs, which Tyreek's playing his
That's going to be the coldest game in NFL history. They're preparing for negative 55 wind chills down
Yeah,
there,
Tyreek
which is
may not be
awesome,
ready
dude.
for that.
Negative 50. I was at the coldest game in NFL history
Yep.
right now, which was against the Steelers.
Yep.
Back in God knows when now.
Yeah.
During a blizzard in the wild card, but negative 55. It's like that. That's obscene.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine playing any sport in that condition,
Yeah.
let alone football where you're taking hits.
Yeah.
And oh man, that's gonna be fun though. I love watching any type of game in crazy weather like that because it changes the whole dynamic
Yeah.
of everything. It really does.
It does.
And if one team is not used to it, you just see them on the sidelines just losing their mind the whole game, just
Yep.
shivering and freaking out.
I mean, it's tough when you're not running too. You feel
Yeah.
cold real fast.
Oh yeah,
so.
or if their defense keep like
Yep.
if you're sitting there for a quarter as a quarterback, just shivering and waiting, that can be it. It really can in terms of trying to build a rhythm at that
Especially
point.
a Miami team too.
Yeah.
I do like Mike McDaniel though.
Yeah,
McDaniel,
he's an interesting guy. Really great coach.
Yeah.
Brilliant X and O
Yep.
mind.
Yep.
Clearly his players really love him too.
Yep.
They really have like a weird.
That would be me as an NFL head coach, Dylan. We were talking about that. He always just even like how I'm kind of dressed right now, everyone. I know I'm looking a little extra, but I also did wear these pants last week, Dylan, and I'm trying to be superstitious.
Is that your good luck?
Yep, and I'm gonna wear them this Sunday, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, a lot of good matchups though, and it should be a fun playoffs. And the Packers, I think, are like one of the last matchups on that Sunday, so hopefully it'll end the weekend with a dub.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else we can really talk about at this point, Dylan. I think overall, I do want to touch about this real quick. How do you think our special teams is gonna play compared to the Cowboys? Because yeah,
Because what?
because our kicker is a little.
Oh, I don't. Every time he makes a kick, I just oh wow.
Yeah, I hold
Cool.
my breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever we get from him is great. But yeah, we need him to not be missing
Yeah.
extra points and 30-yard
Field
field
goals,
goals.
please.
That is tough. But he's a rookie, dude. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a rookie,
Yep.
and yeah, it's just
Daniel Carlson.
a lot of pressure, dude.
Oh, it is.
I think it's one of the most underrated pressure positions in all of sports.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need him to. We just need him to be confident and
Yep.
not think. And clearly all of these guys are putting in the work. I have no doubt that he's putting in the work.
Mhm.
We need that work to come to fruition, though. We definitely need him to
Just make a
to
couple
go
clutch
out.
kicks if
Yeah.
we need it. Yeah.
because those can be game changing.
Yeah.
5 minutes left in the game.
Yep.
That can be your whole season right there.
Yep.
And nobody would ever be like, oh, he missed it. It's all on him. No team ever does that. But
Yeah.
like when they go to the locker room, in the back of their mind, like, Anders missed that one.
It's tough. It's tough.
So I'm pulling for the kid. I mean, he had a good regular season for the most part.
Mhm.
Towards the tail end of this year, he's had some misses where,
Yep.
in moments where you definitely need him to not. But he is young, much like the rest of our team. We need to give him a little time, and hopefully, this is not an issue.
Yep.
In a wild card game.
Yep.
I mean, it's a stadium too. Wind won't be an issue. Weather won't be an issue.
Yeah.
It'll just be all up
Noise
there.
will be. But yeah.
Noise is always an
but
issue.
yeah. The other piece then too on the other side of it is Keyshawn Nixon, who we were dogging a couple weeks ago, and had a
Well,
great.
yeah. Defensively, he had
Yeah.
a couple of really bad games those weeks.
Yeah. But I will say, and you remember last year, is he could still be an X factor, and if he can even, I'm not saying he needs to rip off a touchdown. I mean, that'd be great, but just help us in the field position if
Oh
you
yeah,
can.
every
If he
yard,
can just
every
get,
yard counts.
yeah, if he
for
can
sure.
just even get like a couple little, 30-yard, 40-yard rips, to get us, in good position and help Jordan out would be great.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the offense though, real quick though, Dylan, because again, I think it's gonna obviously be if we want to win, it's gonna have to probably be a high scoring game if I had to guess a little bit.
Yeah,
I-
I would imagine it
Yeah, and I
being
think
in the low. I mean, low 30s maybe even.
yeah,
High 20s, low 30s.
maybe even 40s by
Oh
somehow.
gosh,
That'd be wild.
bad for my anxiety watching that
It'd
defense
be
all
super
day.
fun, but yeah, it would be tough. I will say though, I have confidence in them, and at this point, overall, I think Jordan's gonna play fine. I think our offensive line should hold up. The key matchup will be Zach Tome, our right tackle,
He
versus
is on
Micah
the injury
Parsons.
report,
Was it a serious injury?
buddy. Our injury report is actually
Obscene, not per
obscene right
usual.
now.
Like it has been the last couple
Jair,
weeks.
Devondre,
Yeah.
AJ, Romeo, Elton Jenkins, Aaron Jones has a knee finger thing going on.
Yep.
McDuffie, Luke Musgrave, Josh Myers, Jonathan Owens, Jaden Reed, Sean Ryan, Darnell
Oh
Savage,
gosh.
Preston Smith,
But wait,
Zach,
there's more.
Quay, Christian Watson, Emmanuel Wilson. It's actually obscene now that I look at it.
What are our
A lot
athletic
of them
trainers doing?
are um going to play. They were full participants or limited, but
Okay.
all it
Zach
takes
Tome?
is all it takes is one hit for like one of these dudes to be.
Oh yeah.
Zach is dealing with a finger injury.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
tape that bad boy up,
but
Zach.
he'll
Yeah.
clearly, but,
Yeah.
but, if these dudes take one hit,
I know.
and that could be something that really has an effect, and I have to. Come on.
We're keeping this authentic, people here in the early stages. So I'm gonna do a little yeah, filler here. So yeah, but overall, everyone, I think I feel very confident in this game. I feel kind of like the Chiefs game a little while ago.
You did have a feeling about that game.
And
You were very. Your intuition was on that one.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Okay, that was terrible.
That was dude.
That was bad
No,
there.
you need to do the whole song
Yeah.
now.
Oh Lord.
It'd be great, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I'm not quite as high as you are on it, but
Yeah.
I do feel that we have just as good of a shot as anybody.
Yep. Um. So we'll see. I have that feeling enough, Dylan, where it's like I think if the defense just doesn't play absolutely terrible, or if they play terrible and Jordan again just
Carries.
let's maybe Dylan, like I said, I've been saying the last couple of weeks, and my friends have been giving me crap for this again. 400. If Jordan throws for 400, this could be the week. He just eclipsed 300 last week against the Bears.
You're just gonna say that every week until it happens.
Maybe, and that's what they were saying. And you know what? Let's say it, Dylan. This is the week. He's gonna go
Oh, you
over
too.
400, and he might have to this week because they're playing against one of the best offenses in the league, statistically. So if Joe Barry can't do his job and the defense plays bad, like I think they could possibly still. Let's see it, Jordan. I believe in you, buddy. I think the world's ready to see it, and I think me and Dylan are ready to see it, and I think all the haters are ready to see it too. So, well, they're not ready to see it, but they will be ready to see it here. So, 400 this week. Flip that for the.
It's gonna be every week. Randy's gonna
Yeah.
say
It's
400.
gonna be our little inside joke until the season's over. maybe.
Even when the season's over.
Yeah.
400. He's throwing for 400 in the off season.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts about our ability to, I don't know, our ability to actually get pressure on Dak? Clearly got Kenny. We got Rashawn,
Got Preston.
got Preston.
Got Hercules.
Yeah,
And
you got Lucas.
underrated. Yep.
But I ask that, but because other than the Bear game, it had been weeks since we had seen like actual pressure.
Mhm.
on quarterbacks. I mean, the Minnesota game, notwithstanding, that was barely.
We got pretty good pressure on
Yeah.
Fields too.
No, I
that's
know
been-
that
oh yeah, sorry.
without the Bear game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had been a long time
Yeah.
since a lot of our guys had done that. And again, that when you play a team like the Bears, that's not always impressive.
Yep.
So I do think that getting pressure on Dak is paramount, and I want to know. I don't know what you feel about these damn cats and not being able to.
We love them.
Oh my goodness, Penny, you never play. Anyway,
This is all part of the plan, everyone.
yeah, I always plan for the cats to make obscene noise.
We risked it this time, Dylan. We let them roam, and
I know.
I think they just
I
lost their
made. I
privileges
yeah. I
there a
made
little
a
bit.
mistake there.
In fact, I know they did, but
I know.
that's-
Yeah, Desmond
yeah.
especially. But uh, I that's something I'm not worried about, but that's like a big concern of mine. If we give Dak too much time, I'm not like the biggest Dak guy in the world, but if you give that dude time, he will tear you apart.
Yeah.
He is talented.
The whole little where
Yeah,
he's got that.
Yeah, he's got his
that
his
hip
own
flexor and
style.
power.
You
Yeah.
know, but I do feel like we need to force him out of the pocket. We need to make him move because that's something he's not good at.
Yep.
But they have a good line. I know that their offensive line, they're clearly catered to him.
Yep.
And they're catered to a guy that does not move.
Yep.
So I if we can get a couple of sacks on that dude in
And I
the
think we
first
can.
quarter, first drive, even just to set that tone
Mhm.
and let him know that like, hey, you guys have a good line. We're coming, and we're
Yeah.
coming every play.
Yep.
Not every play, but you know what I mean. We're bringing
We're coming.
intensity every play. And
Coming.
and yeah, we really need to just make that imprint and take that seriously.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's something that we're preparing for.
We would hope. They are getting paid for this and a lot of money, all of them. So, yeah.
Well, I don't ever worry about their work ethic, but the execution of that work ethic
Yep.
is a different thing.
Yep.
Entirely.
Because that's basically the entire game in a lot of essences. You can practice all day long, and that's part of the key, as they would say, to execute on game day. But it's a whole different ball game once you're out there under the bright lights on the road in the playoffs now. But like we said, I think they're going to play free, Dylan. I think overall the team is going to turn a lot of heads. I don't think people are ready. Some people are ready, but I don't think a lot of people are ready to see this upset. Because I can feel it, Dylan. I can feel this upset brewing. So
You can feel it coming in the air,
Yep.
like you said.
Yep.
What give me you know what, since you're Mr. Prediction, give me a final score prediction, Mr. 400.
Ooh,
I know.
I wasn't ready for that one, Dylan.
I
should
know.
have been, but
I know.
put me on the spot. I'm gonna say for Packer Nation, especially in the people, I'm gonna say 31-28 Green Bay. And I think Jordan is either gonna get a go-ahead touchdown, possibly, or maybe he's gonna put him in position again to hit a game-winning field goal because it's gonna be tied 28-28. So book it 31-28 Green Bay.
All right. He
Clip
did it.
that
He
if you
said
want.
it. He said it. That's why,
Feel free to roast me if I'm wrong. That's fine.
they'll roast you if you're right.
Yep. But until people have the bravery like Dylan and I to put yourself out there on the internet, at the end of the day, can't really say anything. So
Or until you finally get into that playoff club.
Yep. Yep.
But if you're outside, you can be quiet on the outside.
Yep.
I know this is just gonna give all these people more
Oh,
more
for
reason
sure.
to talk to you.
That's fine.
This is all
I
me.
embrace
This
it.
is like this will just be like my way to like say this.
Yeah.
A lot of you wouldn't say that to Randy's face. Some of the things that I see you text him, and a lot of you don't have integrity at all to be saying that to Randy. Randy is the kindest, most giving, most generous person I know. And yeah, it's all fun and sports, blah, blah, blah. A lot of you guys are genuinely not nice people to Randy. And I can say that because I struggle at times, like every human being does. But if you really want to be a friend to Randy, then try being friendly to Randy. That's my challenge to you guys, instead of just talking shit and getting drunk and starting drama all the time. Good luck. Give it a go. Anything else?
Yeah, on that note, again, yeah, appreciate that, Dylan, and that's real. But yeah,
That's annoying, dude.
it is. Yeah,
A lot of
I,
you, like, and
I will say this
text
though.
me. Text me.
Yeah,
You won't do that to me.
yeah,
You won't. And
and
again, you wouldn't do it in person.
I,
But
yeah, yeah,
try being a friend instead of just like talking and starting drama all the time and pretending that that's a loving, meaningful relationship.
yeah.
That's my
Real
only
talk
challenge.
there. Yeah, but
And that's all me. That has nothing to do with Randy. Randy doesn't complain about it. I complain about it because I just don't find it fair, and I find a lot of you disingenuous for the way you talk to Randy. So I'll leave it at that. And again, none of you are gonna say anything to me about it, but you can keep texting Randy your passive aggressive attitudes, and we'll keep making moves, and we'll keep doing it without calling out people by their name or without disrespecting them every time that they have something in their life that they care about or fight for.
might have to clip that one, Dylan, a little bit. But yeah, I'll finish with overall. We appreciate again everyone for staying along for the journey. Obviously, there's plenty of a journey to go, but that's part of the beauty in it, Dylan.
Mhm.
Again, we appreciate all the real ones that are supporting us now, because we're taking note right now. Because this isn't gonna stop anytime soon, and it's just gonna take that one video at some point to really get us out there. But again, we plan on using this platform for, again, bigger than ourselves. Right now, I know people are probably getting tired of the sports a little bit. That's fine. We're getting our groove going. This is episode 4.
We're getting reps.
We're getting reps, and I think a lot of people can see that. Again, this is not even me trying to be egotistical. I think a lot of people can see from the outside looking in that Dylan and I have a natural ability. I think in this, we love it. We want to have people on and include them. But ultimately, I think it's fun, and we have a bigger purpose in mind. We really want to help people in the future with this platform, and not just talk smack. But yeah, I'll finish with Dylan. Go Pack Go. Uncool Show. Follow us on YouTube, especially. TikTok is the big one. Instagram, X, all that good stuff. We'll be linking a lot of that here moving forward. And again, we appreciate the support and any sharing. And we'll keep going along for the ride. So go Pack Go. Uncool Show, episode 4. We're out.